What's going on YouTube? What's going on PayPal? Uh, all the viewers that decide to come by, the YouTube citizens, fellow Hebrew Israelite brothers and sisters. Of course, thought I'd come on here to make an attempt to come over to share information to keep you updated, keep you posted. Now things are pretty much coming to play with the prophecies being fulfilled. You got Hurricane Sandy. You got all these supernatural catastrophes happening and not natural, because if it was natural, then it would happen according to the time period or time frame that it normally happens. Like earthquakes happen every couple of years, or like between a 10-year time span. Earthquakes normally don't be so close to each other. Earthquakes are normally distant. You got like hurricanes. That's normally distant. But like I spoke in previous video, hurricanes, earthquakes, tornadoes, all these things are heat related. So that whole, I guess, phenomenon about global warming is not real. Global warming is real. Because if it was not, you wouldn't have so many heat-related storms that's happening, or heat-related calamities, as far as with hurricanes, tornadoes, and earthquakes. So it is indeed real. I guess that whoever put the information out through the media decided to shun it to keep a fear of a national panic or a global panic. As far as, oh no, global warming. If it's something involving the elements of the earth, oh great. Phone just interrupts me out of nowhere. Sorry about that, folks. Just got phone right next to the computer. Interrupt out of nowhere. But anywho, like I said, I believe that whoever, was putting out the information, I believe it started with Governor Al Gore, how he started the whole global warming thing, and people was like, okay, it was somewhat of a fear. Somewhat of a fear, so then they shunned it. Oh, it's not real, pay it no mind, forget about that. So people are like, oh, okay, well, the news said don't pay it no mind, so we ain't gonna pay it no mind. It's no big deal. While others that kind of do their homework and just don't read in a newspaper or look on the news station, know the truth and reality that, hey, this actually is real, and they just probably shunned it to try to get people thoughts and minds off of it. But it's something that's inevitable. That's why you got a lot of movies that come out and they send subliminal messages, just like The Knowing. The Knowing is actually a warning movie. It is a warning message. It's many other movies. I remember one of my videos called Movie Codes, The Last Dispensation of Our Truth, how they send a lot of subliminal messages in movies where people decide for themselves what's true or what's false. Because not all movies that come out is just false or fiction. There are facts in movies, but it's just a safe way to put the truth out without causing a lot of controversy, without causing uh, a major panic or fear all over the globe or all over the country. So put in a movie, one person watching and say, oh man, was a good entertaining movie, and the next person watching be like, man, they had a lot of facts in that movie. A lot of that movie had some truth in it. While the next person, the unbeliever, who ignorant, who lack light, who lack knowledge, be like, oh man, it's just a movie. I don't see why you believe in none of that stuff. So that's the safe way. A book, yeah, that's one way of putting the truth out, a safe way, but sometimes books can get pulled off the shelf if it's causing or making too much of an impact. Then that's when people are like, okay, we gotta get this book, because I understand why the government put lies out. Now somebody like, whoa, what did you just say? No, let me explain what I mean about that. Every empire that has had a mass population that whenever is some sort of uproar or some sort of riot, it's hard for the government to keep control of a mass population when there's a riot, when there's rebellion. So if there is truth as far as to potential dangers to this country that can affect us on a global scale or a national scale within the country and cause a national or global panic, of course, if that truth gets out and people lose it and go insane, and people just start tearing up the place and grocery stores are flooded and all sorts of stuff is turning into complete chaos, then it's hard to control it. It's hard to restore things back to order. So this is why a lot of lies are put out to the media to try to keep the people calm, keep people cool, calm, and collected, and not get out of hand and start going haywire. So, am I justifying it? Slightly condoning it because I can understand that, okay, we trying to keep the peace, we trying to keep the order here. So if they all knew the truth and they all go insane, then we got a problem on our hands. So that's why there's a fear of activists, and that's why it was a fear with the Occupy movement, which has not died, by the way. The Occupy movement and the Tea Parties are not dead. They still growing more and more stronger, just not out there like they was last time. But you see it in Oakland, you see it in Ohio, you still see people still trying to protest and still trying to contest against the executive order for them to express their free will, to freedom of speech, freedom of protest, etc. So basically this video is like, what are we looking at now? It's like, okay, TLT, you said Obama was going to win. He won. You said about calamities around the world, other prophecies, it's happening. Now what? It's a war, major war coming up. Okay? I mean, you can pretty much see that. You see the talks with Iran. You see the talks in the Middle East. It's going to eventually lead to that great war that I've spoken on here on more than one video. World War III, the Holy War, the morality war, good versus evil, Christian versus Muslim, the final crusade. I mean, it's going to be huge, a big, a civil war, the war of all wars, because it's leading to a civil war in America. It's leading to a holy war. It's already, the crusades is already taking place in the East. It's just so much to cover that the media can't cover it all, and some stuff they rather not cover. They trying to weigh it on the scale, what's more important to cover or what's more relevant to cover, because there's a whole lot of things going on that news reporters and journalists cannot get to in time, or it's just so much to get to at one time that they don't know where to start. They don't know where to begin, so it's picking and choosing what to put out there, what not to put out there. But the Crusades is taking place. It's been taking place. I remember they showed it on a couple of news stations, CNN, Fox News, CNBC, I believe, where, not again. I need to get this phone away from here so I won't keep getting interrupted. I need to get them both away from here. Just take the batteries out of them or something. But anyhow, you know what? Let me try it right now, so I won't get interrupted here. I will click back to these people. But anyhow, now, but where was I? Oh yeah, the war of all wars. Yeah, I said over in the East, the Crusades is taking place. And they showed a lot of Muslims over there burning. They didn't show it, but spoke of it, and showed little bits and pieces of Muslims over there killing Christians over in the East because their crusades taking place. And they showed bits and pieces of it in South Sudan. A lot of the war that's taking place in Sudan is not the rebellious against their president it's also Muslims over there killing Christians as well. So that crusade is taking place as I speak. It just is not being shown, it's not being covered because you got other concerns involving this country that the media probably choose not to expose. They're like, hey, we focused on Iran right now. We focused on the the future of America and the economy, and so it's so much. Now, as far as the Civil War, well, you got so many illegal immigrants over here. Got so many foreigners that have rights. Some people feel like that's unfair. That here we born and raised here, we pay taxes, and these illegals come over here and they get the same benefits that we get, but we earned it, they didn't. And they were supposed to get deported, but didn't because Bush was supposed to work on building some sort of fence around the borders to try to keep a lot of illegals from coming over here. But Bush was focused on Iraq, or so focused on Iraq that he kind of neglected the borders. Like, okay, I'm going to get back to that. And never did because his time ran out. So Obama comes in. He wasn't thinking about the borders neither because when the economy went down, that was his primary focus. It's like, okay, he stepped in with more problems, already added on to the previous problems that Bush had left behind. When he was going against John McCain and all of a sudden Wall Street crashed, GM went under, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, it was just click, 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 a domino effect. So, okay, I got this to deal with, I got that to deal with, basically saving the American dream, saving the auto industry, and saving the housing industry. Because that's part of the American dream, having a nice car, having a nice home. So, hey. But, yeah. So, having that on his hands, and, didn't have time for the borders neither. So, because America getting overpopulated, a lot of foreigners are trying to share in the American dream, the great hope, as a lot of them look, third world countries look at this country, and America's getting overpopulated. A lot of rights are being taken away from the people because of the mass population. Where instead of a democracy, the government is trying to take away that democracy to have better control. Because when there's a democracy in an overpopulated country where more power is given to the people in an overpopulated country than given to the government, normally what happens is that mass population ends up overthrowing the government. So why is our rights being taken away? Why are they targeting the Constitution? It's the population, people. That's what they're looking at. No, we can't give them too many more rights because they outnumber us. And they might try to rebel against us, and the activists start to develop more people in the Occupy movement, and it gets bigger and bigger, and then you got this huge crowd of angry mob with pitches, with torches and pitchforks. Yeah. So this is why take away their rights. We got to do something to control the people. So how can we control the people? Target their rights, or attack the resources, or attack jobs. We got to do something to gain control of this mass population. America's population is getting bigger and bigger, of illegals, of course. So this is what makes job hunting a struggle, because you got people born and raised here versus people who immigrants over here who take a low paying job as long as they got some to bring into the family and make ends meet, because you got some Hispanics, some Mexicans, some Africans, and others, Asians, come over here and they live together as a family. See, people born and raised in America, the way it's set up is brother, sister, mom, and dad raise children. Children get up in age, they all branch off and move out on their own and establish their own nest individually and live their own life individually. Versus you got immigrants come over here, probably individually, and all meet up as a whole, and they do everything as a family, regardless of age. is not them living individually. It's, you know, you got sons and daughters in their 30s or almost 40s still staying with mom or dad and doing everything as a family. So versus those born and raised here, the coach over here different. You get up, you grown, you consider grown up, hey, I can do it on my own. I'm finna fly at the nest and go take care of my own thing. So that's what leads to civil war is, hey, our rights, the people born and raised here, like our rights are being jeopardized because of these illegals. And that's not fair because we didn't let the illegals in, they snuck in. And now our rights are being jeopardized, and our jobs are being jeopardized, and basically our entire livelihood is jeopardized because of these illegals. And this is not fair on us born and raised here. So that's why when Romney was talking about self-deportation, and this is something that I can agree with the Republicans on, they do acknowledge the problem of the illegals. Now, for the legals on their end, they like, hey, we just trying to live a good life. We don't want to stay in a country where things are hard and difficult. But if you want to come over here, you got to play by the rules. You got to earn your way up like everybody else. So this why it was a lot of arrows and darts thrown at Obama on keeping our legals here. But of course, Obama was doing it to keep the support of the people that's over here. He didn't want to lose that support. If Obama would have did like Romney and mentioned self-deportation and saying they got to go back or they got to pay taxes, and you know, if he did anything to threaten, you know, their comfort here, then he probably would have lost the support of the Hispanics or Africans or the foreigners that's coming over here, and probably wouldn't have got reelected. It probably would have been Romney. But it was a close one now. When it came to the evangelical vote, Obama in support of gay marriage, and Romney flip-flopping on his faith. One minute he's, you know, he was rooted, I'm a Mormon, I'm not ashamed to say I'm a Mormon. Then one minute he made a statement, you know, when you think about it, we all Catholic. Now that somebody got a diehard extremist religious mind like over in the East will get offended by that. It's like, wait, I'm not no Catholic. What wrong with me? We all Catholics. It's tricky in politics, and all it takes is that one statement, and that's what hurt Romney. When you make that one wrong statement when you campaigning, that one wrong statement is what causes the destruction of any candidate's campaign. One wrong statement. And when he made that 47% statement, blue, it's over, Army. It's over. Because when you're on a campaign trail, of course you're going to have people spying on you. Of course people are going to take pictures. It's going to be playing dirty to win. Politics can be dirty. You know, everybody that tried to go in there with integrity end up losing. But you got to play dirty sometimes because it's politics. It's been that way since Rome with the Senate. I mean, you know, they bring out sitcoms and movies and stuff about ancient Rome. Look what went. Well, actually, it was a lot worse back then because they had people killed and it was a lot of bloodshed in politics in Rome. Now it's a lot of slandering and lying and, you know, but it was bloodshed back then. I mean, if somebody trying to win an election in Rome, they sent out a hitman and slit his throat behind the scenes. And oh, we don't so much for Senator so and so or Senator Maximus or you know them different Greek names, and it was a lot worse actually. But overall, folks, the main thing is it's all about the issue of morality. You know, it's obvious America is not as great as she used to be anymore. This is a dying country. Every empire has its rule for so long before it dies. And because America is dying, this is why so many problems is coming to this country at one time. It's just like, put it this way, this country is like an elderly or somebody on their deathbed. You know, they coughing, they on all these different machines. You know, they doing everything in their power to try to stay alive, but the problem's getting worse and worse. So I know a lot of people, you know, that have the true patriotism in their heart, like, oh no, our country is in shambles, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. That happens with every empire. It's only gonna last for so long before time's up. So until then, just make the best of every moment, make the best of every opportunity, and enjoy it to the end. I mean, just because America's not like how it used to, that don't mean to stop enjoying life. Because ultimately, me being a spiritual person and believing in God, He don't care nothing about this country. He only care about us. He want us to be happy. So if you still got joy in your life, regardless of the condition of this country, enjoy that joy, enjoy that happiness and peace, regardless of the circumstances of this country as a whole. Long as us individually have happiness, some form of happiness in our life, some form of joy. Enjoy every last bit of it, every last drop. Versus the people over in the East and third world countries who have nothing to look forward to as far as joy. They think by them being alive is a curse because of the location that they at. Some people say, well, I'm happy to be alive, but in other parts of the country, some people feel being alive is a curse. Because if they weren't in the predicament they was in, then being alive would give them joy. It would give them happiness. So, but I will offer words of encouragement instead of discouragement, because some of you who true patriots feel like, oh, it's over. America's going down, so I'm going down too. No, you still alive and well. The same people that came together in unity to build this country can come together again to build a greater country. It's either try to rebuild here or do it somewhere else. But unfortunately, you have other ethnic groups that's thinking the same, so that's what's going to lead to the world war. Because whenever a country, this country is also dying in resources too. So whenever a country died in resources or lacking in resources, the only choice they have for survival is negotiation or war. Only choice. If nobody will negotiate with you to try to help, you know, revive the country or revive, you know, the superpower or whatnot, then the only choice that dying superpower or that dying country has left to survive is to go to war, to have to conquer. So conquering in some cases is necessary because even in the scripture with Israel, not the one that they show on TV, of course, but even in scripture with Israel, how they had to conquer and they didn't want to. They had to go to war and they didn't want to. When they went against the Gideonites, when they went against the Philistines, when they went against the Amorites, they had all sorts of enemies that they had to conquer in order for their survival. But if they did not, just like when it came to inheriting the promised land, the land of milk and honey had, I believe, Canaanites that was in that land, and they had to conquer the Canaanites in order to inherit the resources there, but they didn't want to. So God left it up to them either go back to Egypt in bondage and suppression, or might up as eagles, or mount up as eagles on a high cliff and get ready to swan dive into this country and take and claim what's yours. So sometimes people, war is inevitable, it's ugly, But reading in the scripture, God even condoned war because he knew it was necessary sometimes. Because some people not willing to negotiate, some people are tyrants, and they don't care nothing about diplomacy. Only thing they care about is dictatorship, not diplomacy. So those sort of people who are tyrants and really don't care, them the type of people that have to be smited down sometimes. So it's just determining who's who, and yeah, a lot of leaders over here look at Ahmadinejad as that tyrant, and that's why there's so much spotlight on him. And a whole lot of drones been sent over to Iran, and a whole lot of spying because they definitely don't want him to get possession of any nukes. But unfortunately, he already has them. He has them in a storage. He already has a lot of weapons in a storage. And the reason he already has them in a storage and he not using them because he got them targeted for Israel. And if Benjamin Netanyahu decides to do a preemptive strike, which is going to drag America into that war, unnecessary war, because this country is still over in Iraq occupying, and still in Afghan occupying, and still in Libya occupying. And now, if Benjamin Netanyahu preemptive strikes and nukes get the shooting from Iran, then nukes start getting shooting over towards America, because that's when Netanyahu gonna look at Obama and say, hey, last year, was it last year? Yeah, we came to an agreement that you was going to support Israel, and now here it is. It's the time for you to support us, and you're not trying to support us. Then the Jewish community ends up turning against America. The Jewish community already does not like America, but just tolerates this country for their own benefit. So then the Muslim, and yeah, I didn't explain this already. It's on here. It's just gonna link. Click, 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 click. Preemptive attack. Oh, Israel shoots a missile. Okay, Obama, where are you at? Obama's like, I really don't know about this because we already got a lot of things we dealing with. Then Netanyahu gets upset. Well, you said you was gonna be our ally, but you done went and shot a missile at these people starting stuff, and it was peace between you with the ceasefire, and now you shot a missile out of fear, and now you putting us in more danger, and we gotta come and play hero to an unnecessary war, which gonna threaten us and jeopardize us even more, all because you shot a missile over there out of panic, starting something up that was completely unnecessary. Okay. But anywho, brothers and sisters, like I said, nothing to be discouraged about. It's all part of prophecy. It's all part of prophecy. But as for the upbringing of America, I highly recommend that you take your focus off this country and focus on yourself. Lead it up to the people who've been elected to focus on the security of this country. That's up to the Secretary of Defense. That's up to the General. That's up to the CIA. It's up to Obama. So, as for the citizens here, just enjoy every last drop of life while you can. But at the same time, though, like Jesus recommended to the disciples, pray and watch. Pray and watch. Anywho, that's pretty much all I got to share. I just wanted to give an update and leave it at that. Thanks, PayPal. Thanks for letting me pull this one through. And hopefully, my Hebrew Israelite brothers and sisters, hope y'all keep on a journey of sharing the truth. But don't put out too much hate. I understand, what the scriptures say, perfect your hate in Esau and all that. Only be aggressive when you have to be. I already put a video out. I already put a video out on it too about don't teach hate Israel. I mean, be aggressive when you. I mean, if somebody get wrong with you and then you gotta roar at them, so be it. But come civilized and humble first. That's the way Christ did. Christ came humble and civilized first. And when that didn't work, then that's when he had to step on people's toes. So just look, advice, humble and civilized. They get wrong with you out of place, it's time for me to transform into that lion of Judah, which I came from. But yeah. But anywho, peace be unto you all as always. And as well, Christ for life. If that's right. Yeah, that's better.